Hello, friends. The 1324th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, Russian forces have advanced in two areas near Novoselivka and Yanvarske, deep state reports. In a previous video, I mentioned that Ukrainian Armed Forces recently reported offensives near these towns. Further north, Russian troops are attacking in the village of Filiia, according to a Ukrainian soldier with the call sign Muchnoy. He says there is confirmation that the enemy is already inside the town and, judging by movement and visual surveillance footage, is attempting to gain a foothold there or has already done so. Our troops are working in groups, but eliminating the entire enemy presence in one location is currently unrealistic. The occupied area, the number of troops, and the nature of the cover allow them to partially survive and regroup. The next obvious vector is a move north toward Novoselivka, where the main threat is access to the western and southern outskirts of the village. If the enemy advances along this corridor, they will gain a foothold from which to more easily exert pressure on logistics and control access roads. This isn't an immediate catastrophe, but it's a very dangerous phase where the enemy is gaining a foothold, and we need to reinforce and revise our defensive lines, writes Muchnoy. In the Zaporizhzhia region, Russian forces are making progress near Poltavka. According to our military, the important Huliaipole-Pokrovske highway is already under enemy surveillance. According to visual surveillance footage, Russian fiber-optic drones are already operational, monitoring our movements and periodically targeting individual vehicles. These aren't isolated incidents, but a systematic effort to disrupt our logistics. The enemy is attempting to cut off this route to complicate the delivery of ammunition and the evacuation of the wounded. They are setting traps and surveillance drones, acting cunningly, waiting for the moment when transport emerges into open ground and then begin their operations. In the Pokrovsk direction, near Udachne, the enemy has begun implementing a plan to gradually lay siege to the mine area. Objective surveillance footage shows how they are methodically razing to the ground all buildings and shelters that could serve as positions for our soldiers. They are primarily using guided aerial bombs, densely and massively, attempting to eliminate even traces of defense. This is essentially a systematic clearing of the area before a possible infantry advance. In the eastern part of the mine area, the enemy continues to hold out, while simultaneously bringing up new forces. Apparently, they are preparing an attempt to consolidate their position throughout the mine, turning it into a stronghold for further advance westward. Today, near the village of Rusyn Yar near Kostiantynivka, a Tolyatti-Odesa ammonia pipeline was blown up, causing an ammonia release. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced this and published a video of widespread smoke. The Russian ministry claims that the explosion was carried out by the Ukrainian Armed Forces to slow the advance of Russian troops. Ukraine has not confirmed this. However, local telegram channels reported today that the smell of ammonia was detected in Dnipropetrovsk. Meanwhile, the enemy is getting closer to Kostiantynivka itself. According to fighter Muchnoy, the Russians attempted to advance west of Poltavka and managed to gain a foothold in a shelter near a pond. He stated that the Ukrainian Armed Forces struck the enemy's shelter, but the Russians remain holding out and are currently being systematically targeted. Interestingly, on the map published by Muchnoy, the settlements of Stupuchki and Poltavka are in the red zone, meaning they are under enemy control. However, on the deep state map, these settlements are marked as under Ukrainian Armed Forces control. In the Dobropillia sector, Ukrainian Armed Forces fighters published footage of strikes on Russian positions in a residential area in Vilne and further north in a forest belt. It should be noted that there were no previous reports of Russia capturing or Ukraine liberating these settlements.
Friends, I want to develop and strive for higher quality content, but my 2009 computer does not allow me to do this. If you have the opportunity to help me buy a new computer and make my dream come true, I will be very grateful to you. You will find the link in the description under the video and in the pinned comment. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.